Thank you.
The book of love is long and boring. No one can lift the damn thing. It's full of charts and facts and figures and instructions for dancing. You can
Well, good morning. It is good to see you here today. Welcome to Pacific Unitarian Church. Here we are in the middle of February, the middle of winter, which in Southern California means hints and indications of spring. Then back to the chilly winds and the cold mornings and evenings. But we can always find a patch of sun in the midday to bask in a bit. In the bigger world around us, chaos, uncertainty, some victories, some cause for hope before the next frightening breaking news. Therefore, I am pleased to let you know that our settled minister, Pastor Joshua Berg, is with us today. My name is Leanne Hart. I am your worship associate for today. We represent progressive religious thought here in the South Bay. We welcome people of all creeds, races, sexual orientations, and gender identities. We gather here in this sacred space on the ancestral lands of the Tongva people. We strive to be better stewards of the land we are honored to inhabit. If you are here for the first time, we welcome you and want you to know that we have spiritual exploration and education for school-aged children, and it begins right after our moment for all ages. Brunch is served on the patio after the service. Your first time is free of charge. Okay, for announcements today, I would like to bring your attention to the fact that we're trying something new regarding announcements. There is always kind of a push-pull about spending perhaps unnecessary time during the service on announcements. And then on the other side, there's people feeling unhappy that they didn't get enough notice about the events that are happening. So you have noticed that we have a rotating slideshow today, and we're going to put most of the announcements on that slideshow. So you'll notice it before the service, and is it also after?
We could put it up after, yeah.
It might be nice to be up after, too, after. Yeah. Let's see. We do have a couple of new upcoming events, and the hosts of those events would like to tell you a little bit about them. I don't see these people. I would like to invite Angela O. and Alex K. to tell us about the Lunar New Year event. Angela.
Good morning. Where's Alex? Maybe not here yet.
Here,
Okay.
she's running in.
She's running in.
Yeah.
Okay. So on the 20th, this week, on Friday, between 5 and 7, we're going to have a special event here in the sanctuary. And it's really to celebrate Lunar New Year. A lot of people call it Chinese New Year, but it's not just the Chinese who do it. A lot of the Asian cultures celebrate Lunar New Year. So we're going to have a little bit of refreshment, nothing heavy, just a few things that are examples of what people will serve during this time of year. In Asia, it goes for a week long. We'll have a conversation about the Year of the Fire Horse, which is the energy that's actually arrived last calendar year, the end of last calendar year, but we'll talk more about that. And then it'll be very casual. We're going to do a little exercise where we're saying it's a surprise exercise, but I'll just tell you right now. We're going to
Don't tell anyone else.
it's going to be a little exercise on how to do calligraphy. So Tutu is going to do what you'll see this time of year is a calligraphy that stands for springtime, and it's done on red and usually is with black ink, and you hang it on your door for the new year. And he's also going to talk a little bit about a very common saying about when the horse arrives, success follows.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm actually not sure why I'm supposed to be here. So what she said, please come.
Is Kiki in the room today? Do not see Kiki. Okay, so there is another new event, and it's called a knit-in, and you can read all about it in the newsletter. And it, Lisa, do you know when it is? Is it next?
We're making
What date is it?
resistance hats, the red resistance hats that they started in Poland, I guess.
Yeah.
And so I'm not sure whether
next
we're
Sunday.
oh, maybe Alex will know about it. Yeah. I was still teaching you this one.
Oh, okay.
What was the question?
The knit-in. To talk about the knit-in.
Yeah, so this is for the melt the ice hat, and there's a available pattern online where if you buy the pattern, it will go to the organization that help immigrants and the thing that's going on in Minneapolis. So there's a knitting pattern, a Tunisian knitting, and also a crochet pattern.
When?
This is like next Sunday after the church. And yeah, please, you can obviously buy the pattern because it's just online, but please bring supplies. The flyer will say what the supplies you need, and we have people that can help you if you've never done this before.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now it is time to settle into our sacred space with our chalice lighting. These words by Maria Shriver. In a world shaken by grief and noise, Help us quiet our hearts, tend gently to one another, and walk forward with courage and compassion. May we be bearers of light and truth, healing what is broken and united where there is division.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Great to see all of you here. I'm Pastor Joshua. Isn't it exciting the events we're having? It gets me excited. And thank you, Leanne, for the beautiful words introducing me. That was very meaningful, meant a lot. And for your opening words from Maria Shriver. I won't read them again in her husband's voice. On this day after Valentine's Day and 2 days after Galentine's Day, let us worship together this morning, calling up the sacred and the spiritual in the question, how can we traverse the obstacle-ridden societal terrain of our world in order to spread love? And to that end, all of our music today, most of it, will relate to love in honor of Valentine's Day, beginning with our first hymn. So please worship with us together. Stand if you're able, stand if you're willing. Our first hymn, if you have the hymnal, is number 1014 in the smaller paperback hymnal. Otherwise, the words will be on the screen. Answering the Call of Love.
Hope and love abide, and every soul is blessed and made whole. The truth in our hearts is our guide. We are answering the call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one, emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim. We are answering the call of love. Sometimes we build a barrier to keep love tightly bound, corrupted by fear, unwilling to hear, denying the beauty we found. We are answering the call of love. Together as hearts beat as one, emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim. We are answering the call of love. A bright new day is dawning, when love will not divide. Reflections of grace in every embrace, fulfilling the vision divine. We are answering the call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one, emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim. We are answering the call of love. We are answering the call of love.
Thank you, Shayna Hammer, Dr. Severin Benin. And our prelude was with our entire Spirit of Life choir. We have a special guest today. I'm sorry I did not put your name in the program. I apologize, but we have Lynn Russell she's the humblest person. So doing our moment for all ages. So everybody young or young at heart, please come and sit on the carpet in front to hear the story. The mic, yes. Testing, 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 testing. Here you go.
Hi, guys. Hello. Oh my God, I can't wait to meet you guys. I saw you a couple weeks ago, or last week, and I was named after Evelyn. My name is Lyn Lynn. So, good morning, everybody. So, we found out that yesterday was Valentine's Day, and I think you all remember that. And there's lots of different kinds of love, isn't there? Yeah. Does anybody know any different kind of love? Yeah.
Family love?
Yes, family love. And some love you like to kiss, and some love you don't like to kiss.
Friends love.
Friends love, yeah. I love my church, but would I want to kiss my church? Probably not. And I love trees, but would I want to kiss trees? Yes, some people like kissing trees. I like kissing trees. You do too. Any other kind of love anybody wants to share? No? Yeah. But so important, Robin, self-love. Do you know what self-love is? Wait, what's self-love?
Like to be proud of yourself.
Yes, so important. And you should be proud of yourself because
You know how I said parents?
Yes.
Like your siblings.
Yes, your siblings. Hey, yeah, and these two. Yeah, these guys are best friends. But they have lots of other friends, but they're lucky to have each other. Okay, so in C, which it stands for spiritual education and exploration, something, or okay. You guys have one more love. I'm never gonna turn down love.
Might have to love food.
You might have to love food. Well, who loves food? Yeah, especially yummy kinds, yeah. So in C, you guys have been learning about resilience. Does anybody remember what resilience is? Do you remember? It's when things what you do?
Grit?
Grit, that was one of the words that you learned, having grit, when things don't go your way at first. Resilience? You know a rhyme for resilience? Oh, resilient. Okay, I like that. Resilience. Very good. Okay, so it means that you will, you sometimes things just don't go your way the first time around, and you have to keep at it. And they made some plates that gave coping skills when things don't go your way. So because it was Valentine's Day, I'm going to read a story called Zombie in Love. And he really shows resilience. Are you going to hold for me? So, you know what? I think I'll take the cover off because it makes it hard. All right. Okay. Zombie in Love. And I'm going to go a little slow because the illustrations are so cool, but they're so busy that you have to really look. Okay, we're on the first page. Naresh, we're on the first page now. Okay. There we go. Aw, Mortimer was lonely. Look at what his couch is made out of. Does anybody notice that? And look at the worms in here. They're all doing kind of crazy things, too. Oh, and look at the candle, says Weston. Cupid's ball was just a few weeks away, and he didn't have a sweetheart. Oh, he tried, but somehow the ladies didn't appreciate Mortimer's affections. Okay, we can turn. He gave the girl at the bus stop a fancy box of chocolates. Look at those. What's in them? He gave the mail carrier a shiny red heart. Well, do you know what kind of heart that was? A real one. Ooh. And he gave the waitress at the diner a stunning diamond ring. Ew, with a cut-off finger in it. Yeah, I think you should have. Poor Mortimer. He read books. So here's where he was doing some coping skills and having resilience. He read books and followed all of the advice. He took his dog for a walk in the park. He worked out at the gym. And he even took ballroom dancing lessons. But nothing he did seemed to impress the girls. Okay. Then he got an idea. He placed an ad in the newspaper. Oh, Severin, I should have asked you, do you know that song? Do you like pina coladas? Do you like pina coladas? No, it's not one of your hit songs. Okay. Okay, so this is the ad, huh? Maybe you guys can read the headline. Can you read this, everybody? Yeah, go ahead. Tall, dead, and handsome. So, if you like taking walks in the graveyard and falling down in the rain, if you're not into cooking, and if you have half a brain, if you like waking up at midnight, horror films, and voodoo, then I'm the guy you've looked for, and I'm dying to meet you. Saturday, Cupid's Ball, Punch Bowl, 7 p.m. Mortimer was sure this was the answer. Do you guys know what Cupid is, or who Cupid is?
I think Cupid is
Yeah, that's very good. No, we're good, Donner. Listen to Cupid. With an arrow, and I'm wearing one today, but mine's a troll one. Do you guys know what trolls are? They invented them when I was like about 7 years old. Well, doll ones. Okay, so now, all right, it's Saturday, and he shopped for a new suit. He combed his hair and he put on his best cologne. What do you think his cologne was made out of? What would he pick for cologne? Sure, you can speak.
I think poison.
Poison? Poison cologne. They have one called Poison. Yes? Okay.
Dog spit.
He might have thought that was yummy smelling. Yes, yep. All right, now he's off to the ball. Next. Wow. Cupid's ball was hopping. Couples were dancing and laughing and, well, having a ball. Mortimer took his place near the punch bowl and waited. Turn the page. And waited. And waited. And each time a girl approached the table, Mortimer would smile like, turn the page, this. Can you do that? And each time the girl would shriek and run away. And he tried breath mints. Oh, gosh. And he tried handing out roses. And he tried being funny. Well, I actually think that is pretty funny. But nothing worked. Well, next page. As the night wore on, the room began to empty, and the punch bowl did not. Suddenly it became clear to Mortimer that nobody was dying to meet him. He began to shuffle toward the exit when he heard a loud thud. Let's do a thud. The thud was followed by an even louder crash. Crash. And Mortimer turned around, and there on the floor was a girl. Her name was Mildred, and she was drop dead gorgeous. She smiled like, let me see it, this. And Mildred stood up and shook the pineapple rings from her hair, and she goes, "Am I too late?" she asked. The clock struck midnight. Bong. "You're right on time," said Mortimer. And Mortimer and Mildred danced and held hands and dined by the moonlight. It was love at first bite. Look at that cake they're eating. What is it? Do you guys know? It is a brain, and they have eyeballs too. And they lived happily ever after, his and hers. Thank you. Yes, now go learn more about resilience with Miss Robin.
The time has come to light candles of joy and sorrow. You are invited to come forward to receive a candle that you can light from the center bowl. You may wish to share a brief personal joy or concern, or light a candle in silence. We share your joy and hold space for your sorrow.
And I will do a very brief prayer, followed by a brief moment of silence to absorb and share that energy. Spirit of becoming, just as the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step, and patience and purpose saw the tortoise outpace the hare, especially as we race and struggle against forces of distress that may seem too powerful. May we too understand that slow and steady progress leads to true wisdom to continue to overcome. Let's take a breath, and as the sound of the bell dies down, we will lift up the sound of our centering hymn. Please remain seated for There Is a Love by Elizabeth Norton.
There is a love holding me. There is a love holding all that I love. There is a love holding all. I rest in this love. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love. We rest in this love.
Thank you. Our reading today are excerpts from Love as the Practice of Freedom by the brilliant bell hooks. Without love, our efforts to liberate ourselves and our world community from oppression and exploitation are doomed. Without an ethic of love shaping the direction of our political vision and our radical aspirations, we are often seduced, in one way or the other, into continued allegiance to systems of domination, of imperialism, of sexism, racism, classism. Fundamentally, if we are only committed to an improvement in that politic of domination that we feel leads directly to our individual exploitation or oppression, we do not only remain attached to the status quo, but we act in complicity with it, nurturing and maintaining those very systems of domination. A culture of domination is anti-love. It requires violence to sustain itself. To choose love, then, is to go against the prevailing values of the culture. It's scary. Many people feel unable to love either themselves or others because they do not know what love truly is. In his essay, Love and Need, Is Love a Package or a Message?, Thomas Merton argues that we are taught within the framework of a competitive consumer capitalism to see love as a business deal. Quote, this concept of love assumes that the machinery of buying and selling of needs is what makes everything run. It regards life as a market and love as a variation of free enterprise. We see that sometimes on Valentine's Day. Though many folks recognize and many folks critique this commercialization of love, they see no alternative. So not knowing how to love, or even what love is, many people feel emotionally lost. And others search for definitions, for ways to sustain a love ethic in a culture that negates human value and valorizes materialism. So the ability to acknowledge blind spots like these can emerge only as we expand our concern about politics of domination and about our capacity to care about the oppression and the exploitation of others. A love ethic, a true love ethic, makes this expansion possible. The civil rights movement transformed society in the United States because it was fundamentally rooted in love, in a love ethic. The civil rights movement had the power to transform society because the individuals who struggled alone and in community for freedom and justice wanted all these gifts to be for everyone, not just for the suffering and the oppressed. Visionary Black leaders such as Septima Clark, Fannie Lou Hamer, Martin Luther King Jr., Howard Thurman, they warned against isolationism. So choose love, and we also choose to live together in beloved community. And that means we do not have to change by ourselves. We can count on critical affirmation and dialogue with comrades walking a similar path. African-American theologian Howard Thurman believed that we best learn love as the practice of freedom in the context of community. The moment we choose to love, we begin to move against domination, against oppression. The moment we choose to love, we begin to move towards freedom, to act in ways that liberate ourselves and others. And that action is the testimony of love as the practice of freedom. Bell hooks. This is just excerpts. So I spent 9 months in a Japanese high school as an exchange student during high school. And thank you, Leanne, for dressing in the theme of the sermon. Isn't that awesome? I spent 9 months in a Japanese high school as an exchange student. Talk about culture shock. And I don't mean culture shock just for me. I mean for them as well. So at this point, I was tall and very lanky with big curly hair and gigantic feet. From the time I was 12 to the time I was 15, my shoe size actually was my age, 12, 13, 14, 15. So no one could say act your shoe size and not your age. Let's just say I stood out in Japan. Do you want to show, is this the time to show the picture? No, not yet. Not yet. Not yet. I'll show it in a minute. People regularly ask me if they could touch my curly hair, or they just reached out and they touched it. I'm going to turn this on, see if I can walk down. All right. Can you hear me now? Still hear me? Yeah. All right. People, so they touched it. My size 15 shoes became minor celebrities. At that time, it wasn't uncommon for people in Japan, it probably still isn't, to point at foreigners, it was part of the culture, and shout, gaijin, gaijin, which means foreigner, foreigner. But they had another word for me. I remember standing in line at a small shop or maybe it was a post office when I was in high school. In Japan, someone shouted, "Dekai!" And I turned around to find them staring at my feet, just mouth open, mouth agape. The word for big is oki. Dekai is different. It's slang for something shockingly large. So there was a required uniform at my high school in Kagoshima, in the southernmost part of Kyushu. My host family had to special order shoes from Tokyo, and even then they were too small. You can put up the photo. This is me in high school in Japan. Where is it? Oh, no, next one, I'm sorry. There it is. It's not a great photo, but there I am. You can't really see the size of my feet, but I stand out. You'll have to go back to the other photo in a second, sorry. So I share the story for two reasons. First, as a white boy raised in suburban America, this was my first experience of anything close to what people of color experience every day in so many spaces in our own country. Being stared at, being labeled, being singled out, being made hyper visible against their desires often. It was uncomfortable. It was humbling. And especially as a shy teen, it heightened my awareness. The second reason I share this story, because it sets up the Japanese philosophy of Kaizen. And Kaizen means, at its most literal, improving oneself. Now, at first, my desire to practice Kaizen was rooted in something fairly simple. I didn't know it was called that at the time. I just wanted to fit in. That's it. I wanted to fit in. I wanted to reduce the gap between myself and everybody else. I wanted to feel less conspicuous. But let me pause here and say something clearly. Oh yeah, that's Kaizen. You can leave that up. This story is not about changing ourselves in order to erase who we are. It is not about shrinking our feet, although I did try that, or straightening our hair, or muting our voice so that others feel more comfortable. It's not about that. It's not about conformity for the sake of acceptance. What began as a desire for me to fit in Japan slowly transformed into something deeper. It was a commitment to bettering myself. Not to disappear into the crowd, but to contribute more fully to the community. And that shift matters. Because Kaizen at its heart is not about self-erasure. It is about self-improvement for the sake of the collective whole. In Japan, I worked very hard on my language skills. But no matter how fluent I became, somehow people still knew that I was a foreigner. I could not, and I should not, erase that reality. But I could improve my ability to communicate, to understand, to participate. And to that end, I decided to learn something that every Japanese student was expected to master. I decided to learn the soroban, the abacus. Students used abacuses instead of calculators. Shopkeepers used them in their stores. There were national competitions where students performed calculations on these things, they're longer ones too, so complex that they contain more digits than I could hardly count, let alone calculate. The most astonishing thing, after years of practice, many of these students no longer needed the physical abacus. They could see it in their minds, and they moved the beads with a mental image to get the answer. So these contests, they didn't even need the abacus. Now, math has never been my strongest subject. Learning the abacus felt more than daunting. In the 9 months I was there, it seemed near impossible. So I started small. I undertook the Japanese process known as Kaizen, although at the time I didn't know that's what I was doing. At its most basic, Kaizen is a philosophy focusing on a single, small, incremental improvement over time. It is regularly employed in Japanese corporations to improve processes and to boost efficiency. The key is to set a regular improvement goal that is so small, that is so easy, that you would have to make a real effort not to accomplish it. And then increasing that goal in just as tiny increments. I committed to moving a single bead, just one, over and over until I could calculate with that one bead, and then I added one more, and then another and another. One bead at a time. And in a culture that celebrates, like ours, overnight success and dramatic breakthroughs, Kaizen, it feels almost countercultural. We want sweeping changes. We need them. We want immediate transformation. We want grand innovation today, tomorrow. But Kaizen, it whispers something steady and faithful. Small, consistent improvements over time lead to profound growth. And here's where the deeper lesson unfolds. At first, I wanted to improve so that I would stand out less. But what I learned was that improvement is not about hiding differences. It's about strengthening contribution. I didn't become smaller. I became stronger. I didn't stop being different, obviously. I became more capable of participating. And that distinction is everything. Because in our world, and even in our faith communities, there is sometimes often pressure to fit in, to conform, to smooth out the edges that make us unique. But our UU values do not call us to shrink ourselves. They require us to refine ourselves, to grow in love, to grow in courage, to grow in wisdom, and not so we disappear, but so we can serve. When we look at the kanji, that's what these characters are called for Kaizen, the meaning even deepens. That's mine. Still on yet is. Okay. The characters, or the kanji, and they're in your program too, used to write Kaizen are logographic rather than phonetic. In other words, they're made up of morphemes or smaller characters that directly represent meaning rather than sound. So the first character, Kai, is made of two units, or radicals as they are called. The one on the left, that looks like a backward S or a backward 5, is onyomi, and that means self. The one on the right is nobun, or bokuzukuri, which literally means to strike or to whip, whip oneself. It's understood to mean strongly encourage oneself. It suggests correction, renewal, making oneself better. And the second character, Zen, is also broken down into two radicals. This time, one is on top of the other. The one on the top is hitsuji, which means sheep. And the sheep is sitting on an altar, a sacrifice, implying sacrifice or effort. In other words, improvement. You can take the Kaizen down if you want. Kaizen at its core means encouraging oneself toward goodness through sustained effort and sacrifice. It's not perfection. There's no such thing. It's not performative. It's not comparison. It's growth. And growth requires reflection. It requires admitting mistakes. It requires sacrifice, as in the image. It requires patience. It is rarely a straight line upward. It is more like a winding path through hills and valleys. When I began moving multiple beads on the soroban, on the abacus, I made countless mistakes, and I sacrificed time. I practiced when others relaxed. But something else happened too. The more I practiced, the less my motivation was about fitting in, and the more it became about being good, excellence, discipline, contribution. And that is the deeper meaning of Kaizen. It is important to challenge oneself, each of us, for the good of the collective, rather than challenging others. Can't you do this? No, challenge yourself to do it. And theologically as well. We are right now entering the season on the way to Easter and Passover of daily preparation leading to divine inspiration. That's what this season is. Many, if not all, the religious practices, from Lent, which is just starting, to traveling in exile as the Jews did in the desert for 40 years, counsel the religious practices in those practices. They counsel preparation over time, one day at a time, 1 year at a time. It's necessary. Those practices on a regular basis, a little at a time, are necessary to be ready to receive divine wisdom. So I began to see how Kaizen could apply to every part of life. And the truth we must wrestle with today is that the challenges our world needs can feel overwhelming. We know that. Sorry, for those who don't know, I have Tourette syndrome, so that's why I'm moving and ticking like this. I just want to share with you. The truth we must wrestle with today is that the challenges our world needs can feel overwhelming. Racial justice, climate crisis, political division, economic inequality, the mountain feels enormous. Even in our personal lives, significant change is overwhelming. I've had some significant change recently. Overwhelming. I'm sure we all have. We recently passed the new year. How many people have kept up with their resolutions a month later? How many people remember what their resolutions were? How many people even made one at all? It's overwhelming. Studies show that the average person makes the same New Year's resolution 10 years in a row. And when something feels too big like that, like society, like all this stuff we're dealing with, our brains react to it. Neuroscience tells us that when we face overwhelming challenges, our amygdalas activate. They light up with the fight, flight, or freeze reflex. We become anxious. We become paralyzed. We become immobilized. We want to act, but it feels impossible, especially now. Kaizen offers one way forward. Shrink the steps. Make it small enough that fear can't stop you. Can you name one of the largest and most impressive structures in our city? One that was designated a California and a National Historic Landmark, and one of just 9 folk art sites listed in the National Register of Historic Places in Los Angeles? The Watts Towers, exactly. Built over decades by Simon Rodia, one tiny step at a time, one piece at a time. If you've never seen them, it's pretty impressive. Kaizen, it says that if we trick our brain by setting challenges that are very achievable, almost unimportant, our brains then aren't triggered. Our amygdala doesn't light up. We don't have the fight or flight or freeze response, and we comfortably accomplish that task. If we set a goal that is incredibly easy, we end up jumping right into do it and often end up doing more. We bypass the amygdala while we're building new neural pathways over time. We're getting better. When I sit down to write a sermon and stare at a blank screen, writing 1,800, 2,000 words feels impossible. So I commit to just one sentence, just one. And that sentence leads to another, maybe a paragraph, maybe a draft. But I've only committed to writing the one, and if that's all I can write in that moment, that's what I do. When I think about justice work, we can't fix the system overnight, but we can attend one meeting, we can write one letter, We can have one conversation. We can read one book. We can make one call, just small enough to begin. And when thousands of people take small, faithful steps together, those steps accumulate. Kaizen is not about dramatic heroics. It is about durable faithfulness. But remember this, it's very important. The goal is not self-improvement for self-improvement's sake. It is not polishing our skills in isolation. It is about becoming better for the sake of the whole. In Japan, I could not stop being tall. I could not shrink my feet. I could not erase my difference, and I should not have tried. But I could become more disciplined, more skilled, more patient, more engaged. I could grow in ways that allowed me to contribute more meaningfully to that high school community around me. That is the shift. We do not practice Kaizen to fit into systems that harm us. We practice Kaizen to strengthen ourselves so that we can strengthen the collective. We grow in compassion so our communities grow kinder. We grow in courage so our communities grow braver. We grow in wisdom so our communities grow more just. Kaizen means we work to increase our personal strength methodically so that we can bring our unique strengths to the support of each other. It is a philosophy that justifies strength in diversity. Diversity. Contrary to what we are hearing from our government, strength in diversity is the meaning of the very motto of our country, e pluribus unum, out of many one, and also what religion preaches. For the Christians among us who are beginning the season of Lent, it's good to recall the words of the Apostle Paul, who writes about the body having many parts. The eye does not become a hand. The foot does not become an ear. Each part remains distinct, he writes, but it grows in strength and coordination for the sake of the whole body. He's talking about the body of Christ. It applies to all bodies. And that is sacred Kaizen. Distinctiveness without isolation. Growth without erasure. Improvement rooted in love for all. So I'll end with an invitation. Think of one area where you long to grow, spiritually, intellectually, relationally, socially. Think about that area you want to grow in. It's pretty intimidating sometimes. Now shrink it. Make it so small it feels almost insignificant. 1 page of reading. 5 minutes of prayer or meditation, 1 act of generosity, 1 courageous conversation, 1 bead, and commit to it this week. And not so you can fit in, not so you can perform, but so you can contribute more fully to the beloved community we are building together in this world. Because bead by bead, small step by small step, act by act, we are shaped together. And when we are shaped, the world is shaped, not through spectacle and not through force, but through steady, sacrificial, faithful love. May it be so.
Thank you, Pastor. It's now time for our offertory. These words by Joe Von Roo. In our world, many voices are silenced. Many truths remain unspoken because the speaker fears rejection, judgment, or worse. Our financial offerings today help sustain this congregation as a place where all voices can be heard, where truth can be spoken without fear, where vulnerability is met with compassion. We give in gratitude for this beloved community and with hope for a world where more voices can speak their truth.
Amen.
It's very clear our love is here to stay. Not for a year, but forever and a day. The radio and the telephone and the movies that we all know, they may be passing fancies and in time may go. I know for sure our love is here to stay. Together we're going a long, long way. In time the Rockies may crumble, Gibraltar may tumble, they're only made of clay. Our love is here to stay. It's very, our love is here to, not for a, at ever and a day. The radio and the telephone and the movies that we all know, they may be passing fancies and then time may go. I know for sure our love is here to stay. Together we're going a long, long way. In time the Rockies may crumble, Gibraltar may tumble, they're only made of clay. Our love is here to stay. Our love is here to stay, forever and a day. It's here to stay. The radio and the telephone and the movies that we all know, they may be passing fancies and in time may go. I know for sure our love is here to stay. Yeah, a long, long way, on a long, long way. In time the Rockies may crumble, Gibraltar may tumble, they're only made of play. Our love is here to, not for a year or two, but our love is here to stay. Our love is here to stay.
Woo! Rod Oakes on the trombone. Rod Oakes on the trombone. Spirit of Life Choir, Dr. Severin Venez.
All right. Won't you join me in reciting our affirmation of gratitude? Let us be grateful when we are able to give, for many do not have that privilege. Let us be grateful for all those who share our gifts, for we are enriched by their giving. And let us be grateful even for our needs, so that we may experience the generosity of others.
Before we stand and do our closing words, I just want to mention a couple things. First of all, there's some slips at the back on the usher tables. If you have pastoral care needs or you know of someone who does, you can fill one of those out and put them in the little box. You can put your name or not, it doesn't matter, so that we know to contact people if they have pastoral care needs. Please feel free to join me at 12:30 today in the library. I'm continuing my UU theology class. And this evening, we have a fundraiser for immigrants. We're going to have, from LA, a bunch of mariachi artists coming to raise some money. So you can come back and join us there. All right. Please rise in body or spirit. Join hands if you're able and willing. This beloved community is dedicated to the proposition that within all our differences, in all our diversity, there is a unity that makes us one, a bond that holds us together in spite of time and death and the space between the stars. We rise in silent witness to that unity.
May the blessing of love be upon you. May love's peace abide with you. May love's presence illuminate your heart now and forevermore. So be it. Amen, Ashe, Salom, Salam, Namaste, and blessed be. And now our service truly begins.
All right, in keeping with the love theme, we have a tender song that celebrates young love. It was written in 1964 by a young man named Charles Berry, and so we're going to sing that for you. It was a teenage wedding and the old folks wished them well. You could see that Pierre, he truly loved that mademoiselle. And now the young monsieur and madame have rung the chapel bell. C'est la vie, said the old folks. It goes to show you never can tell. They furnished off for an apartment with a 2-room Roebuck sale. The cooler later was crammed with TV dinners and ginger ale. Well, Cranberry found worked a little money coming and worked out well. Say la vie, said the old folks. It goes to show you never can tell. They had a hi-fi phone, oh boy, did they let it blast. 700 little records, all rock, rhythm, and jazz. But when the sun went down, the rapid tempo of the music fell. C'est la vie, said the old folks. It goes to show you never can tell. Hit it now, hit it. They bought a high-five jitney, a cherry red 53. They drove it down to Orleans to celebrate their anniversary. It was there where Pierre was wedded to the Mademoiselle. Say la vie, say the old folks. It goes to show you never can tell. It was a teenage wedding and the old folks wished them well. Guarantee that Pierre did a truly loving Mademoiselle. And now the young monsieur and Madame have rung the chapel bell. C'est la vie, said the old folks. It goes to show you never can tell. C'est la vie, said the old folks. It goes to show you never can tell. One more time. C'est la vie, said the old folks. It goes to show you never can tell.
Gary Hart, Carl Mattson Decay, and Dr. Severin Bennin. Woo! Oh, thank you.